The cardinal fact upon which the whole programme turns is that this is the nature of a civil war. We are not fighting with a foreign foe whom we are to thrash and overcome and vanquish and punish and then abandon him and turn our back upon him. These men are to be our neighbours. Nay, they are to be our fellow citizens. Whatever be their faults, whatever be their offences in the present or in the past against us, if we are to stay in South Africa at all, they will be there. And not only so, but they are indistinguishable from the great majority of our own citizens in our own colonies. Now, anyone who really appreciates these facts, what will he say are to be our objects in the war which we have undertaken in South Africa? The first ought to be to impose upon our antagonists our military superiority, but the second is to impress upon them our ultimate and essential friendliness towards them. Are the elements to be found for a settlement in the conditions to which you have now reduced South Africa? The whole country in the two belligerent states outside the mining towns is a howling wilderness. The farms are burned, the country is wasted, the flocks and herds are either butchered or driven off, the mills are destroyed, furniture and implements of agriculture are smashed. These things are what I have termed methods of barbarism. I adhere to the phrase. I cannot improve upon it. If these are not the methods of barbarism, what methods does barbarism employ? In time of war, things are not done in a rose-water sort of way, but the universal treatment of a whole country in this way, and the sweeping of women and children into camps, is a process for which I venture to say nothing can furnish justification. When the war is happily ended, and we set about the constitution of this Arcadia, the 50,000 prisoners of war will, of course, return to what, by some sort of irony, we may perhaps be permitted to call their home. These are the materials for your new self-government. They will meet the 100,000 women and children or the survivors of them. There will not be many children at the present rate. They will meet them, and in what sort of mind towards the British Empire will these men be when the husband meets the wife and hears her story, when the brother meets the sister, when the father asks in vain for his child? Hitherto I have spoken of the belligerent states. Now what of the old colony of the Cape? To what condition has the statesmanship of the government brought it? The constitution is suspended. Martial law, which is, in other words, no law, nothing but the arbitrary rule of soldiers, who know nothing of law, prevails from end to end of the country. We have reason to fear that martial law is but a form of undeclared war upon the Dutch population, with all the ordinary guarantees of civil rights suspended. No man is safe in property, in liberty, or in life. The independent press is silenced. So severe are the restrictions on news that we have only partial information, but we have enough to know that hundreds of men, not Dutch only, but many British, have been arrested, thrown into jail, deported to a distance from their homes, tried and condemned by these military tribunals on the evidence, it may be, of spiteful neighbours or political opponents. Why, with what indignation would we denounce such proceedings in other countries? Have these ministers of ours not learned that it is not by the suppression of civil rights, not by the harshness, not by coercion and force in any form, that a free people can be kept quiet and contented? The government have revived old enmities and created new ones. They have sown seeds of lasting discord, and when they by and by lay down in discredit their responsibilities, they will leave a new island in the southern seas to be a weakness and a difficulty to the empire. How true are the words of Burke in his famous speech on the conciliation of the American colonies. Mr. Burke in this great speech urged a further objection to force. He was objecting to applying force in any case of this kind, and that was that you impair the object by your very endeavour to preserve it. The thing you fought for is not the thing you recover, but deprecated. Small, wasted and consumed in the contest. You may preserve your authority in South Africa, but it will be deprecated and lessened and wasted and consumed. Is it too late even now to hope for counsels of moderation and a statesmanship which shall revert to the great traditions which have bound Great Britain and her colonies together?